What's up guys, in this video I'm going to show you this amazing new technique I've been using recently. It's just awesome. This is pretty subjective, so you might not like it. I personally love it, so I'm just going to show you it. So check this out. This door I worked on, notice how all these edges right here have this very soft feel to it. It's still a hard surface object, but the edges look a lot softer, almost like sub D. And if I zoom in here, you're going to see we have these really nice soft edges here. If we zoom in to these areas, we have these nice little soft and more like fused areas here. It just looks good all together. Same for the doors. Nice soft edges going on. And I really like this style. It feels like a more natural sci-fi style to me. Now let me show you the other door I have without this effect. If I turn this one on, you're going to see this one is a lot more rigid and static, right? All these edges here are not really soft. They're all pretty hard edges, and some of you may prefer this style, but I honestly think compared to this one actually pops a little bit more in terms of sci-fi aesthetic. Now let me show you the easy way to achieve this. So I'm going to go back to this old one. And the most natural and easy way to do this would be to go to your bevel modifier and simply make the bevel modifier size bigger. So what I could do is I could, maybe go in here and increase the size, but you're going to see at a certain point, depending on the object, you're going to get these nasty overlaps. Same for the door. If I want to make the bevel rounder to make the edges a bit more soft, you're going to see I can't really do it because what happens is the bevel modifier begins to intersect with the other edges, and it's just it's not going to work out. So the bevel modifier, although in some cases you could just make the bevel modifier bigger, like up here for example, it would actually end up working pretty well, or maybe not, but yeah, there's going to be a limitation because we can only make the bevel so much bigger. So I've come up with another technique. So what we can do instead is we can basically remove, let me apply all my modifiers here before I do this. But basically what we can do is we can remove our bevel modifiers here. So just remove them. And as a matter of fact, I'll join this pillar together here. And you're going to see we don't have any modifiers on here. So instead of using a bevel modifier, what we're going to do is use a remesh modifier. This is a pretty heavy operation, so just keep that in mind. So we're going to go to remesh. Now, from the start, it's not going to give you very good results, and that's because we want to go over to smooth, and if this isn't working out very well, we need to turn off this remove disconnected button, and we just need to make this octree depth a lot bigger. So we'll make this like 7 or 8, and then we can turn on smooth shading and turn off our auto smooth. Cool, and you're going to see just by doing that a few times, we end up getting this pretty, soft yet hard surface looking effect. But there is one problem here, and it is this connection point. So there's two ways to fix this. One, you can use the voxelize strategy and just make the voxel size a lot smaller, and you can actually get a pretty clean result this way. Or if you want to use smooth instead, which looks a little bit different, you're going to have to actually union these pieces together. So if you just join them together, that's actually not enough. What you're going to want to do is union all of these pieces together. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that real quick. And now if we try to use the remesh modifier set to smooth, it's actually going to work pretty well. So we're just going to make this like 8 and then smooth shading. And you're going to see we have this really clean looking soft edges going on. Let me just isolate the view here. So this is kind of subjective. You can use smooth or you can use voxel. It kind of depends on which style you prefer. As you can see, they do look a little bit different depending on the settings you use here. You can kind of play with it. But for the most part, I've had significantly less issues using the smooth option. So take that for what it's worth. Now what you can also do is stack this with a smooth modifier, and you can kind of tweak the parameters here on the smooth modifier and just kind of adjust how these edges look. It's very subtle, but it does kind of help it out. And you can also play with the scale button right here in the remesh modifier itself. Now the awesome thing about this technique is it doesn't cause any sort of overlaps. Remember before when we tried to use the bevel, we ended up getting overlaps immediately. This is basically the same thing as making the bevel bigger, but we're not getting those overlaps. And you can see it just completely remeshes the whole thing. Makes these really nice transformations and fusions between the meshes, and it just looks really, really clean. And the best part about it is the remesh modifier does not cause any overlaps. So all the geometry on here is manifold. You're not going to have any issues with overlaps or weird stuff like that, which is awesome. Blender's remesh modifier is really good. So what I've actually been doing in my game assets recently is I've been baking these. Let me go back to my low poly here. So let me turn this off. I've actually been baking my low poly objects to these softer edges here, and it actually bakes really, really well. And I can just quickly show you how you would bake it. So let me go to the low poly one. Let me just do the pillar separately just for demonstration purposes. So basically what we would do is we'd take one of these pillars, make sure it's unwrapped and all that good stuff. So I'll just go ahead and U to unwrap it. And we would export this as our low poly version. So we'll go ahead and export it. Keep in mind, I do have a triangulate modifier. It's very important. Otherwise it won't render if you have n-gons. So we'll just go in here and call this example underscore low. And then we can go to the one with the soft edges here. We can go ahead and export this one as example underscore high. So I'll just be using Marmoset for baking, and as you can see, this low poly version right here has really harsh and just defined edges. As you can see in here, just literally a one segment bevel and very limited geometry. And then we're going to have the high poly version right here, which is a lot more round and soft and just looks cleaner to me. So let's go ahead and bake this out and see how the results look. And look at this, guys. The bakes are just amazing. I've actually had very, very limited issues with the bakes. And you're going to see, even with pretty hard edges, you can bake soft edges right on top of them, and they look really clean. As long as you use a one segment bevel, you end up getting these really clean results. And I just think this looks so much better than that, that default hard edge that we had before. Do you see the difference here? It looks amazing. And take a look, guys. If you take this inside of Substance Painter and begin texturing it, you get these really clean soft edges around here. The edge wear looks absolutely amazing. It fuses together very nicely, and it looks like something you'd see in a video game or some sort of sci-fi film, and I absolutely love it. So that's about it, guys. And by the way, this piece right here is from a tutorial for our new membership that we have available on our site. If you want to check that out, there's a link in the top of the description. There's like 12 full courses on there. There's a private community. There is just a lot of cool stuff. You even get discounts on new products. So check that out. This tutorial should be released in December. We always make these like a month before. So yeah, if you want to check it out, links in the top of the description. Other than that, I hope the video helped, and I'll see you in the next one.